Today we're going to learn how to make Easter eclairs. So I'm taking my template and placing it onto a tan piece of felt, and I'm going to outline two of these shapes onto the felt with my disappearing ink pen. Once you have those shapes outlined, move forward with cutting both of the pieces out. This will be the top piece and the bottom piece of the eclair. Once you have those two pieces cut out, we're going to move on to the frosting. So I'm taking my template and outlining it onto a white piece of felt, again with my disappearing ink pen, and then once I am done, I'm going to go ahead and cut that out as well. So once I have my frosting cut out, I also need to start cutting out my whipped cream that will be put on top of the eclair. Now for this eclair, it can fit 4 whipped creams on top. So for this type of whipped cream, you need 5 circles to create 1 whipped cream. So for this topping, you would need 20 circles outlined and cut out. Now you can modify it if you want. If you just want to do 2 whipped creams on top, you can. It's definitely up to you. But for the one that I showed at the beginning, it is 20 circles to do the 4 whipped cream on top. So once I have those fully outlined and cut out, we will finally be moving on to attaching the frosting to the top of the eclair. So we're going to take one of our tan pieces and we're going to place the white piece on top. Try to make it as even as possible. And then from there, I'm going to go in with my hot glue gun and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the backside of the white piece just so that it doesn't move as I am stitching it to the top. So from here, I'm going to take my matching thread and I'm going to come up from the backside of the eclair along the edge of the white felt. And then I'm going to dip my needle down into the white felt and push it back towards the backside of the eclair. I'm then going to move over just a little bit and do the same exact thing. Come up from the backside, dip your needle into the white felt, push it back towards the backside of the eclair. And you're going to continue to do this stitch along the whole edge of the white felt, just connecting the two pieces together. Now, once we get back to our first initial stitch, that's when we're going to want to secure everything that we just did. So we're going to come up again from the backside of the eclair, dip it into the white, push it towards the backside. And then from here, that's our last stitch. We're going to flip it over. We're going to take our needle, push it through a little bit of felt. And then before you pull it too tight, we're going to run our needle through that hoop not once, but twice. Pull tight, and then it will create a knot in the thread, which will secure all the stitches that you just did. And then you can cut off the extra. So this is the top piece of your eclair. This is what the back looks like. And now we're going to go in and attach the two pieces together. So you're going to take your needle and your matching thread and you're going to push it between the two pieces of felt toward the back side of the eclair. Hide your knot that's at the end of your thread. Come up and over the edge. Push your needle through the top piece of the eclair and come up between the two pieces. And then pull tight. From there, you're going to move over just a little bit, push your needle through both pieces of felt this time, and then you're going to run your needle through that hoop and then pull tight. You're going to do the same exact thing. Move over just a little bit, push it through both pieces of felt, run your needle through that hoop, and then pull tight. This is your blanket stitch, and you're going to continue to do this stitch along the whole edge of the eclair, connecting the two pieces together. Once you're about partway closed, you're going to want to stop and start adding in polyfill. So I just go ahead and add in polyfill until it's nice and firm. And then once I have it to what I want, I will then continue my blanket stitch to close up that hole. Once I get back to my first initial stitch, I want to secure everything that I just did. So just make sure that you run your needle through that hoop not once but twice to create that knot, and then run your needle through the eclair and cut off the extra. Now, this is what your eclair should look like when it's done. Now it's time to add on the whipped cream and the little mini chocolate eggs. So for the whipped cream, you're going to want 5 circles for 1 whipped cream. So once you have the 5, what you're going to do is you're going to take the first circle, you're going to fold it in half like a taco, fold it again so it's kind of like a triangle, and then from there you're going to place it on top of one of the other circles. I go in with my matching thread, and I'm going to come up from the back side along the tip of that triangle, and I'm just going to do 2 small stitches on the tip of that triangle. So just coming up again from the back side and pushing my needle back towards the back side of the whipped cream, just so that I'm securing that to that bottom circle. So it should look like that when you're done. You're going to then pick up your second circle, do the same thing. Fold it in half like a taco, fold it again like a triangle, and lay it right next to the one that you just stitched. And same thing, 2 small stitches at the tip of the triangle. They don't have to be pretty. No one's going to see them. Just make sure that you're securing it onto that base circle. And then I'm going to just continue to do that for the 2 other remaining pieces. Once I'm done securing my last piece of the whipped cream, of course, I'm going to want to secure everything that I just did. So once you make your last 2 stitches, you're going to want to flip over that whipped cream, and then you're going to run your needle through a little bit of felt, and then you're going to run your needle through your hoop, not once, but twice, pull tight, and then cut off the extra. And then this will be what your whipped cream looks like when you're done. And you will need to create 3 more to go on the top of the eclair. Once you have your whipped cream done, it's time to make your eggs. So you will need 4 tiny or mini eggs. So I'm going in with a pink felt with my template. I'm going to outline this shape 4 times onto the felt. Now the template has a dot that's at the top of the leaf shape. That means it's the top of the egg. So I make sure that I also put a dot on my leaf shape on the felt so that I know to connect the top pieces together when I am stitching it. So again, you're going to outline this 4 times onto whatever color felt that you want. In this one, I'm doing pink, a mint color, a light blue, and a yellow. And then once you have those outlined, we will move on with cutting those pieces out. Once you have those cut out, it's time to stitch them together. So I'm going to take 2 pieces, make sure that the dots are matching up so that they're the top of the egg. I'm going to take my needle, go between both pieces, push it towards the back side of the egg, hide your knot that's at the end of your thread, come up and over the edge, push your needle through the top piece of the egg, come up between the 2 pieces, and then pull tight. Now I'm going to take my needle again, instead of moving it over like I normally do, I'm going to go back through the same stitch that I just did, just to make sure that the top pieces are nice and tight. So again, back through the same stitch I just did, back through the hoop, and then pull tight. Kind of creating a knot when I first start my blanket stitch, just because the piece is so tiny. And then from here, I'm going to move over just a little bit, push it through both pieces of felt, take your needle, run it through that hoop, and then pull tight. And you're going to continue to do this blanket stitch along that whole edge of the egg. And then once you get to the end, of course, we're going to want to secure everything. So run your needle both through the felt, both pieces of felt, run your needle through that hoop, not once, but twice, and then pull tight, creating a knot in the thread. And then this is what it will look like when you're done, the 2 pieces together like this. And then from here, I'll take my needle, run it through the egg, and then cut off the extra. Then I will do the same exact thing for the other 2 pieces, but the only difference is I will not cut off my extra thread. I want to keep it attached so that I can go fully into attaching the 2 pieces together. Now that I've finished my second piece, I have my attached thread. I am going to want to make sure that I line up my dots with my other piece so that I make sure that it's the top of the egg on both sides. And now I'm going to line up the edges together and start to stitch them together. So I'm going to take my thread or my needle, and I'm going to go up and over that edge, push my needle through the top piece of the egg, come up between the 2 pieces, and then pull tight. And then I'm going to move over just a little bit, push my needle through both pieces of felt this time, run my needle through the hoop, and then pull tight. Again, same thing. Push needle through both pieces of felt, run needle through hoop, pull tight, and you're going to continue this blanket stitch along the whole edge of the egg. And then again, once you get about partly closed, you're going to want to stop and start adding polyfill to the egg. And then this is showing you, this is where I'm stopping. I have a little hole so that I can stuff it with polyfill. If you have like a stuffing tool or a stuffing stick, it would be helpful to use one of those. You can do it with your fingers. It's just you might not be able to get as much stuffing in there as you want. But if you have like a stuffing tool or one of those stuffing sticks, those are very helpful with how small the eggs are. So once I have it nicely stuffed, I'm just going to continue my blanket stitch to close up that hole. And again, once I get to my first initial stitch, I'm going to go a couple stitches past just to secure everything before I run my needle through that hoop 2 times. But once I've created that knot in the thread, run your needle back through the egg and then cut off the extra. And then there you go, you have a little mini chocolate egg. Now, like I said, for this eclair, I made 4 of them. So you'll need to do the same exact thing 3 other times. I have a pink one, a blue one, mint, and yellow. And now it's time to add the whipped cream and the eggs onto the eclair. So now we're on to the easy part, which is decorating the eclair. I lay out all my felt or my whipped cream on top of the eclair first so that I know that they're positioned at the right spot, they're even. And then I go in and I will add, go in with my hot glue gun and I will add glue to each of the whipped creams and I will stick them directly on top of the eclairs. And then I usually push down pretty hard onto the whipped creams just to make sure that they are secure on top. And then once you have all of the whipped creams glued down, we will move on with adding our eggs to our whipped cream. So once we have our whipped cream all glued on, this is what it will look like. And then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out my eggs. I'm going to do pink, mint, blue, and yellow. You can decide whatever colors you want to do. But from here, I'm going to take 1 egg at a time. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on the base of the egg and then glue it straight in the middle of the whipped cream. And I'm going to do it for all 4. From there, once I have all the eggs glued down, I usually go back and add some glue to the whipped cream to be pushed up onto the egg. It secures the egg a little bit more so it's not so wobbly, but it also makes the whipped cream look more full. So I'll just go around and kind of add a little bit of glue here and there. But then once I have that done, I will go in with a marker and add some detail to the eggs. So if you're wanting to add a little detail to the eggs, I use a Master's Touch alcohol marker. It is Chestnut Brown 98. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. But I'm just going in and lightly giving my eggs some freckles. You definitely don't need to do this if you don't want to. I just want to add it a little bit more detail. But there you go. You have a beautiful Easter eclair to add to your kitchen. You can find this template on my Etsy account, which is linked into my bio. I also have some pre-made ones on my Etsy page as well. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below in the comments.